Even in the darkness of night, that door looked black. Made of thick oak planks, bound with iron straps and heavy latches, it stood in the old copper shed on the eastern edge of the Dempsey plantation. An 11-year-old girl, who had been given the name Inayat, stood before it. Her feet were bare, and the cool night earth seemed to be listening to her. In her hand, she held a small oil lamp, its flame trembling in the breeze. Only one thing was known about that door on the plantation: it was not for any slave to open. Master Columbus Dempsey himself had declared that any slave who went near it would have the skin flayed from their back. And if anyone dared to open it, they would never see the sun again. Fear lived in Inayat's heart, but an even greater thing lived there too: curiosity. She wanted to know what was behind that door. Her mother, known on the plantation only as Old Lily, often said that some doors are only for God, not for his servants.
Look at
But
all
Inayat
those
was of an
stars.
age
Each
for
one is a
curiosity,
story.
and the
Wow,
chains of
can you tell
slavery
me
could
one?
not
Of
restrain
course,
it.
once a long time ago.
That night, as the whole plantation slept, Inayat took a step forward. Her trembling hand touched the cold
Let's
iron
review.
latch.
A, B, C.
At that very
ABC.
moment,
Very
a
good.
voice
Now
came
D,
from
E, F,
behind
G.
her.
D, E, F, G.
Inayat, get
Auntie,
away from
listen
there,
to this
child.
part.
I'm listening,
It was
dear.
her
Go
uncle
on.
Jacob, who worked in the plantation stables.
That's it. You've written the
There was
first
fear
letters.
in his voice,
The first
but
letters.
also gentleness.
Yes. Now let's try the
Uncle,
next ones.
what's inside?
Please, sir, show mercy.
Inayat whispered.
The law is the law.
Jacob took
This
her
is
hand
injustice.
and pulled her away.
Have pity.
There was a strange moistness in his eyes. Nothing, child. Just everything we have lost.
Keep moving. Don't stop.
And then he began
I
to
see
tell
the edge.
Inayat the
It's
story
clearing.
that no
Stay
one
with
had
me.
told her before. Inayat was born in the spring of 1835, when the cotton fields of Mississippi were lush and green, and the waters of the Mississippi River ran high with the thaw. She was given the name Inayat because her mother, Lily, said the child was a gift from God. But in the plantation ledger, her name was written simply as Lily's girl. Lily herself had been born on this same plantation. She had been here since the time of Master Dempsey's father. Her back was bent, but her eyes held a strange stillness. She worked in the kitchen and also looked after all the slave children on the plantation. Who Inayat's father was, Lily never told. Some on the plantation said he was a slave from a neighboring place who was sold away. Some said he was Master Dempsey's own brother, who went north. Lily remained silent. She would only say, Inayat's father loved her, but love does not stay in slavery. Inayat spent her early childhood in her mother's cabin. It was on the southern edge of the quarters, where 20 other slaves also lived. Dirt floor, a bed of dried grass, and a small fireplace where a fire burned in the winters. When Inayat turned 6, she was sent to work in the fields for the first time. At that age, children
Look
were
at all
made
those
water
stars.
carriers.
Each one is a story.
A
Wow,
heavy
can you
bucket
tell
was
me one?
placed in
Of
Inayat's
course,
hands,
once a long
and she
time
was
ago.
told to carry water from sunrise to sunset to those working in the fields. The heat of Mississippi was such that the earth would
Let's
crack.
review. A, B, C.
The cotton plants grew
ABC.
taller
Very good.
than a
Now
person,
D, E, F,
and
G.
the faces of
D,
the
E, F,
slaves
G.
hidden among them showed only the marks
Auntie,
of
listen to
exhaustion.
this part.
I'm
Inayat
listening,
would run
dear.
all
Go
day,
on.
filling the bucket, bringing it back, and watching
That's
how
it.
the sun
You've written the
burned
first
skin
letters.
of these people.
The first letters.
During
Yes.
this time,
Now let's
she
try the
noticed
next
something.
ones.
When work ended,
Please, sir, show
as the
mercy.
sun set,
The law
Master
is the
Dempsey's
law.
wife,
This
Mrs.
is
Cornelia,
injustice.
would sit
Have
in
pity.
her garden, drinking tea and reading a book. Those books were strange. They had no pictures, only small marks.
Keep moving.
One
Don't
day,
stop.
Inayat
I
asked
see
her
the
mother,
edge. It's
Mama,
clearing.
what does
Stay
she
with
see
me.
in those books? Lily answered, she reads, child. She knows how to read the things written on paper. Can I learn too? Lily scolded her. Never say that, Inayat. For a slave to learn to read is a sin, in the master's eyes. If anyone finds out, they will cut off your fingers. But the seed of curiosity had been planted in Inayat's heart. When Inayat was 9, her family suffered what every enslaved family suffers, being torn apart. Master Dempsey had debts to pay. He decided to sell Lily's 2 sons, Inayat's older brothers. Their names were Samson and Eli. Samson was 16 and picked the most cotton in the fields. Eli was 14 and loved the horses. Inayat never forgot that day. It was a November morning, cold wind blowing, frost whitening the fields. A slave trader came, a fat man with a whip and tobacco in his mouth. He looked at Samson and Eli, checked their teeth, felt the muscles in their arms, and then said to Master Dempsey, "These 2 will do." Lily fell to her knees and begged, "Master, don't sell them. They'll pick cotton for you, I'll work twice as hard myself. Master Dempsey did not look at her. He only said, Lily, you know this is business. Samson and Eli were bound in chains and taken away. Eli looked back, tears streaming from his eyes. Samson said nothing, just kept looking at his mother until he disappeared into the haze. That night, Lily did not light a fire. She sat in the corner of the cabin, silent, numb. Inayat sat beside her, holding her hand. She did not know what was passing through her mother's heart. But that night, she learned one thing: slavery means your loved ones can be taken from you on any given day. The years passed. Inayat was now 11 and worked in the fields. Early in the morning, while it was still dark, a horn would blow and all the slaves would wake. Breakfast was cornbread and water. Then, the march to the fields. Inayat quickly learned the work of picking cotton. Her fingers were delicate, but she could still pick 40 pounds of cotton a day. Experienced slaves would pick over 100 pounds, but for her age, it was a lot. Work all day in the sun. Back bent, thorns pricking your hands, thirst so fierce your throat would dry up. A short rest at noon, then work until evening. At sunset, there was the weighing, who had picked how much. If someone's weight was low, they were whipped. Uncle Jacob worked near Inayat in the fields. He was a quiet man, but he loved Inayat. He would often give her water and say, "Rest a little, child. You're still young." But Inayat got little chance to rest. Master Dempsey was a hard master. He rarely shouted,
Look at all
but
those
his
stars.
silence
Each
was
one is a
frightening.
story.
Wow, can
He
you
would
tell me
ride
one?
through the
Of
fields
course,
on his
once a
horse,
long time
and if
ago.
someone was working too slowly, he would just look at them. Those looks said, "You are mine. You must
Let's
work
review.
for me."
ABC.
The
A,
overseer,
B, C.
Mr.
Very good. Now,
Crookshank,
D, E,
was
F,
the
G.
opposite.
D, E, F, G.
He would shout, wield his
Auntie,
whip,
listen
and
to this
scold the
part.
slaves for every
I'm
little
listening,
thing.
dear. Go on.
His eyes were small, and he always
That's
had a
it.
wad of
You've written
tobacco
the
in
first
his
letters.
The first
beard.
letters.
He didn't hate Inayat
Yes. Now,
specifically,
let's try the
but he
next
had no
ones.
care for her either.
Please, sir, show mercy.
Slaves,
The law
in his
is the
view,
law.
were animals.
This is
In those
injustice.
difficult
Have pity.
days, Inayat developed a habit. She learned to be silent. When other slaves complained or cried, Inayat would listen in silence.
Keep moving, don't stop.
When Mr.
see the
Crookshank
edge.
lashed out
It's
with
clearing.
his whip,
Stay with
Inayat
me.
would grit her teeth but make no sound. This silence became her shield. She noticed that the slaves who talked more got punished more. Those who remained silent became like walls. People saw them but looked right through them. But this silence also sharpened another ability. She began to observe others. She learned when Mrs. Cornelia was happy and when she was angry. She learned when Master Dempsey was in debt, he would stay longer in the fields then, and when the crop was good, he would go to town. She learned when Uncle Jacob's back pain was worse, just before it rained. And she learned which trees were safe to sit under and where the snakes were. This silent observation became her skill. One day, she saw Mrs. Cornelia sitting in the garden. Her book had fallen on the ground, and she was asleep. Inayat looked around, no one was there. She crept closer, picked up the book, and turned its pages. Those letters looked strange to her. She recognized some of them. Occasionally she had seen them on Master Dempsey's letters. But she didn't know what they meant. She said to herself, if I could know what these say, maybe I could write my own story. At that moment, Mrs. Cornelia woke up. Seeing
Look at
Inayat
all those
holding the
stars.
book,
Each one
her
is a
eyes
story.
widened.
Wow, can you tell me
What
one?
are you doing?
Of course, once a long time
Her
ago.
voice held fear. Inayat quickly handed the book back and said, "Forgive me, Mrs." It fell. I was
Let's
just
review.
picking it up.
ABC.
A, B,
Mrs.
C.
Cornelia
Very good.
took
Now,
the book
D,
and
E,
kept
F,
looking
G.
at
D,
Inayat.
E, F, G.
Then she said softly,
Auntie,
"Can
listen
you
to
read?"
this part.
I'm
No,
listening, dear.
Mrs.
Go on.
Would you ever want to learn?
That's it.
Inayat's
You've written the
heart
first
pounded.
letters.
The first
She
letters.
remembered her mother's
Yes,
words.
now, let's
"They'll
try
cut
the
off
next
your
ones.
fingers."
Please, sir,
But
show
she
mercy.
answered,
The
"Yes,
law is the
Mrs."
law. This is injustice.
Mrs. Cornelia
Have
looked
pity.
around, then whispered, "Every Thursday afternoon, when the master goes to town, you come behind the kitchen. I have some old books."
Keep moving, don't stop.
And so,
I see
Inayat's
the edge.
secret
It's
education
clearing.
began.
Stay with
Every
me.
Thursday, when Master Dempsey went to town, Inayat would hide in the bushes behind the kitchen. Mrs. Cornelia would come with an old book and a piece of chalk. She would teach Inayat the letters, first A, B, C. Then words. Mrs. Cornelia was a strange woman. She was a daughter of the South, but there was a softness in her heart, perhaps because she had no children of her own. She would tell Inayat sternly, "If anyone finds out, I will say you learned by stealing looks." I knew nothing about it. But Inayat knew Mrs. Cornelia was taking a risk. Teaching a slave to read was against the law. If Master Dempsey found out, he wouldn't harm his wife, but Inayat would certainly be severely punished. In 6 months, Inayat learned to read simple sentences. She read stories from the Bible, about Moses, who led the Israelites out of slavery. These stories warmed her heart. One day, she asked Uncle Jacob, "Do we have a Moses?" Jacob looked at her with sad eyes and said, "We have nothing, child. Only these fields, these chains, and these broken backs." But Inayat's heart held hope. She had learned that this plantation was not the whole world. There were other places in the books, cities, rivers, mountains, and freedom. One day, when Inayat was 12, she was gathering wood in the forest when her eyes fell on the old copper shed. It stood on the eastern edge of the plantation, where no one ever went. Tall grass grew around it, and a heavy lock hung on its door. She asked Uncle Jacob, "What's in that shed?" Jacob's face changed. "Don't go there, Inayat. That door is not for any slave." "Why?" "Because the master said so. That's all you need to know." But Inayat's curiosity grew. She asked other slaves, but no one would tell her. Some even stopped talking to her when she asked the question. Then one night, she asked her mother. Lily was sick then, feverish and coughing. She took Inayat's hand and said, "Listen, child. That door has been opened before. A long time ago, when I was small." "Who opened it?" A distant memory surfaced in Lily's eyes. A woman. Her name was Pearl. She was brave, very brave. She went inside, and whatever she saw, she was never the same again. What did she see? She saw what slaves are not meant to see. She saw her own past. She saw her sisters who were sold away. She saw her father who died from the whip. She saw everything we try to forget. So, the past is inside. Lily nodded. Inside is everything we have lost. But going there doesn't bring anything back, Inayat. Only pain. Inayat couldn't sleep that night.
Look at all those stars. Each one
She
is a
kept
story.
thinking about
Wow,
who Pearl
can
was
you tell
and
me
what she
one?
had
Of
seen.
course,
In
once a
the
long
following
time ago.
days, Inayat tried to learn more about Pearl. Uncle Jacob told her that Pearl had been a slave on this plantation long
Let's
ago.
review. A, B, C.
She was
A,
beautiful,
B, C.
but more
Very
than
good.
that,
Now,
she
D,
was
E, F, G.
intelligent.
D, E, F, G.
She could read. Someone had taught
Auntie,
her,
listen to
maybe
this
the
part.
old master's son.
I'm listening, dear. Go on.
One day, Master Dempsey's father found out that
That's it.
Pearl could
You've
read.
written the first letters.
He
The
had her
first
whipped and then
letters.
locked her
Yes.
in the old
Now,
shed.
let's try the next ones.
When she was brought
Please,
out
sir,
days
show
later,
mercy.
she had gone
The law
completely
is the
silent.
law. This is
She wouldn't
injustice.
speak,
Have pity.
just stared at the wall. A few months later, she vanished one night. No one ever saw her again. But
Keep
they
moving,
say her
don't stop.
spirit still wanders
see the
around
edge.
the shed,
It's clearing.
and whoever
Stay with
opens
me.
that door sees their own future through Pearl's eyes. Inayat trembled hearing this. But there was a strange pull in her heart. She wanted to meet Pearl. She wanted to know what Pearl had seen. The winter of 1846 was harsh. Lily's illness worsened. She could no longer go to the kitchen, just lay in the cabin. Inayat worked in the fields all day, and at night she cared for her mother. Mr. Crookshank refused to see Lily. "A sick slave is no use for work," he said. But Mrs. Cornelia secretly sent some medicines and warm soup. One night, Lily took Inayat's hand and spoke with great difficulty. "Child, I am going." "Mama, don't go." "What will I do alone?" Lily looked at her. Her eyes were sunken, but the love in them was still there. "You are not alone, child. Inside you, I am there. Inside you, your grandmother is there, and her mother. You are all of us. Mama, tell me about Pearl. Where did she go?" Lily took a long breath. "They say she went north. They say she is free. But I don't know, child. Maybe she died. Maybe
Look at all
she
those
lives.
stars. Each one is a story.
Only God
Wow,
knows."
can you tell me one?
Then
Of
Lily
course,
took her
once
last
a long
breath.
time ago.
Inayat sat holding her hand all night, not having the strength to cry. In the morning, when the sun
Let's
rose,
review.
her
A,
mother
B,
was
C.
gone.
A, B, C.
Very
Lily
good.
was
Now
buried
D,
in the
E, F, G.
plantation
D, E,
graveyard.
F, G.
No marker, no stone.
Auntie, listen to this
Just a
part.
mound of earth.
I'm listening, dear. Go on.
Inayat stood there and said in her heart, Mama, I
That's
will
it.
open that
You've
door.
written the first letters.
I
The
will
first
find
letters.
Yes. Now
I will
let's try the
find
next
freedom.
ones.
Please,
After her
sir, show
mother's
mercy.
death,
The
Inayat
law
grew
is
even
the
more
law.
silent.
This is injustice.
She worked,
Have pity.
she ate, she slept, but there was something else in her eyes. She kept thinking about the shed. One night, she went
Keep
to Uncle
moving, don't
Jacob
stop.
and said,
I
Uncle,
see the edge.
I have to
It's
go
clearing.
inside.
Stay with me.
Jacob was alarmed. Have you gone mad, Ned? Going there means death. Mama is dead. My brothers are gone. What do I have left to lose? Your life, child. Your life. But Inayat was stubborn. What's inside, Uncle? You know. Tell me. Jacob took a deep breath. All right. I'll tell you. But then you decide for yourself. And then Jacob told her that inside the shed were things from the old days, old pictures, letters, records. But the real thing was what Master Dempsey's father had hidden, a map. What kind of map? The route north. The paths that lead slaves to freedom. The master's father used to hunt slaves, he caught runaways. He made a map of all the escape routes so no one could get away. That map is in that shed. Inayat's heart pounded. If I find that map, what will you do? Run yourself? Yes. And take others with me. Jacob looked at her. There was fear in his eyes, and pride too. You are your mother's daughter, Inayat. She was just like this. Uncle, help me. Jacob thought for a while, then said, 3 nights from now is a full moon. That night, the master will be in town, his sister's wedding. Mr. Crookshank will drink himself to sleep. That night, I will get you to the shed. But remember, you have only 1 hour. That night arrived. The moon was full, its light making the plantation glow. 1,000 fears lived in Inayat's heart, but she moved forward. Jacob led her to the shed. A heavy lock hung on the door. It's locked, Uncle. Jacob smiled and pulled a key from his pocket. This is the master's key. I made a copy years ago. Never thought I'd use it. The lock clicked open. The door hinges creaked. A strange smell came from inside, old wood, dampness, and something else. Jacob said, I'll wait here. Be quick. Inayat stepped inside. It was dark, but the moonlight streamed in through the door. She lit her lamp and looked around. Old trunks, broken things, rusted tools. Cobwebs on the walls. She started opening the trunks. One had old clothes, another had pots. Then she found a small chest, its lock broken. She opened it. Inside were papers. Old writings, records, and a map. Inayat looked at the map. Rivers, hills, and paths were drawn on it. Some places were marked, maybe safe houses, maybe dangerous spots. At that
Look at all
moment,
those stars.
her eyes
Each one
fell
is a
on
story.
something else.
Wow, can you tell me
At
one?
the bottom
Of
of
course,
the chest
once
was a
a long
diary
time ago.
with a leather cover. She opened it. On the first page was written, This is Pearl's diary.
Let's review. A, B, C.
Whoever
A,
finds
B,
this,
C.
know
Very
that
good.
I
Now
am
D,
free,
E, F, G.
D, E,
and
F,
you can be
G.
too. Inayat's
Auntie,
hands
listen to this
trembled.
part.
I'm
It was
listening, dear.
Pearl's
Go on.
diary. She began to read.
That's it.
May
You've written the
14th,
first letters.
1823.
The first letters.
Yes.
Today the
Now
master
let's try
caught
the
me
next
reading.
ones.
Please,
Whipped
sir,
me and
show
locked
mercy.
me in this shed.
The law is the law.
I was afraid.
This is
But then I
injustice.
found
Have
this
pity.
chest. Inside is a map, and something else. The master's father says these are the routes. I have
Keep moving,
memorized
don't
them.
stop.
I see the
One
edge.
night,
It's
I will
clearing.
run.
Stay with me.
Inayat turned the next pages. June 20th, 1823. Tried to run tonight. The master woke up. Caught me. Whipped me and cut off my fingers. Now I cannot write. But I will remember. The next pages were blank, except for one. On the last page was written, If any slave is reading this, listen. The map is correct. I have found freedom. You can too. Master Dempsey lies, freedom is possible. I have tasted it. Now I am dying, but I am happy. You be happy too. Tears were in Inayat's eyes. Pearl had died, but she had found freedom. She had succeeded. Suddenly, a voice came from outside. Inayat. Hurry, the master is coming back. Inayat grabbed the map and the diary and ran outside. Jacob was terrified. Come on, hide quickly. They hid in the bushes. Master Dempsey rode up on his horse and went into the big house. They were safe. In the following days, Inayat kept the map and diary hidden. At night, when everyone slept,
Look at all
she would
those
read the
stars.
diary
Each one
and
is a
study the
story.
map.
Wow, can you tell
She
me one?
learned the
Of
routes
course,
north,
once a long
where the
time
river
ago.
was, where the hills were. She learned which houses offered help, the ones marked on the map. She
Let's
said
review.
to Jacob,
A, B,
"Uncle,
C.
I'm going to
A,
run."
B, C.
Very good. Now
Come with
D,
me.
E, F, G.
D, E, F,
Jacob
G.
shook his head. I am
Auntie,
old,
listen to this
child.
part.
I'm listening,
I'm
dear.
afraid
Go
I'll
on.
slow you down. You go.
That's it. You've
I
written
won't
the
leave
first
you.
letters.
The first
You have to go.
letters.
Yes. Now let's try the
You
next
are
ones.
young. Your whole
Please,
future
sir,
is
show
ahead.
mercy.
The law is
I
the
have
law.
lived my life
This is
here in
injustice.
these
Have
same
pity.
fields. For you, another life is possible. Inayat cried. But she knew Jacob was right.
Keep moving. Don't
She
stop.
made a plan.
I see the
Next
edge.
Sunday,
It's clearing.
when the master
Stay
and
with me.
Mrs. Cornelia went to church and Mr. Crookshank drank himself to sleep, she would run. She would follow the river north. But first, she had one more thing to do. Sunday morning arrived. Inayat spent her last night in her cabin. She picked up her mother's shawl, the same old shawl Lily always wore. She said goodbye to Uncle Jacob. God be with you, Uncle. God be with you, child. Never forget who you are. Then she went to the kitchen. Mrs. Cornelia was there. Inayat looked at her and said, "Mrs., I know you did so much for me. Thank you." Mrs. Cornelia looked at her. Her eyes were moist. "You're leaving, Inayat, aren't you?" "Yes, Mrs." Mrs. Cornelia hugged her, the first time a white person had ever hugged her. Then she slipped something into Inayat's pocket. "Take this. Some money. It will help you on the way." Inayat kissed her hand and slipped outside. She ran towards the shed. She had the map, but she also wanted to take Pearl's diary. She opened the shed door and went inside. At that moment, a voice came from behind her, "So here is the little thief." Inayat turned. Mr. Crookshank stood in the doorway, whip in hand. His eyes were red with whiskey, but he was conscious. "I thought you were hiding something. Slave girls like you are always hiding something. Give it to me." Inayat hid the diary behind her back. "There's nothing." Crookshank came closer. "Oh, nothing? Then why are you here? You know you're forbidden from going near this door. Now you'll have to learn your lesson." He raised his whip. Inayat closed her eyes. Suddenly, another voice came, "Stop, Crookshank." It was Jacob. He stood in the doorway, an axe in his hands. "She's a child, Crookshank. Let her go." Crookshank laughed. "Old slave, what do you think you're doing? Put that axe down, or you'll be hanged." Jacob moved forward. "Hang me then. But let this child go." Crookshank swung his whip at him, but Jacob raised the axe and struck. Crookshank fell. He wasn't dead, but he was unconscious. Jacob looked at Inayat. "Run, Inayat. Run now. Uncle, you come too." "I can't. My legs won't work." "You run. Run for my memory." Inayat hugged Jacob and then she ran. She ran towards the forest, towards the river. Behind her came sounds, Master Dempsey's shouts, the cries of other slaves. But she didn't stop. She ran
Look at all
until her
those
feet
stars.
gave
Each
way.
one is a story.
Wow,
Then she
can you
walked
tell me
until
one?
night fell.
Of course, once a long time
And
ago.
when the sun rose, she was at the riverbank. She took out Pearl's diary and read the last page.
Let's
Freedom
review.
doesn't just
A,
mean
B, C.
being free
A,
from
B,
chains.
C.
Very good. Now D, E,
Freedom
F,
means
G.
remembering
D, E, F, G.
yourself. Who you were,
Auntie,
what you
listen to
could
this
become.
part.
I'm listening,
Inayat
dear.
stepped
Go on.
into the river. The water was cold,
That's it.
but she
You've
didn't
written the
feel
first
it.
letters.
The first
she kept
letters.
moving forward
Yes,
years
now
later.
let's try
in
the next ones.
1865, when
Please,
the Civil
sir,
War
show
ended
mercy.
and slavery
The
was
law
abolished,
is the law.
woman returned
This
to
is
that
injustice.
Mississippi
Have
plantation.
pity.
She was middle-aged now, her hair had turned white, but her eyes held the same light. The plantation was deserted.
Keep moving. Don't stop.
Master
I see
Dempsey
the
was
edge.
dead.
It's clearing.
Stay with
Mrs.
me.
Cornelia had gone north. The slaves were all gone. Only the old trees and the abandoned buildings remained. The woman went to the old shed. The door was open, nothing inside. She smiled. Then she went to the graveyard, where her mother was buried. There was no marker, but she knew where to stand. She placed a small stone there, on which was written, "Lily, mother, brave, free." Then she placed another stone, on which was written, "Jacob, uncle, protector, brave." And then she took Pearl's diary from her pocket. She read the last page, smiled, and placed the diary by the grave. "You said, Pearl, that freedom was possible. You spoke the truth. Today, no trace of that plantation remains. There is a shopping center there now, and people drive around in their cars, unaware of what once happened here. But they say that on moonlit nights, when the wind is still, near where the old oak tree stood, the shadow of a girl can be seen. That girl stands before a closed door, a lamp in her hand, waiting, perhaps for that door to open, perhaps for her mother to come, perhaps for the day when slavery will be just a forgotten story.
Look
And
at all
that
those
door?
stars. Each one is a story.
Perhaps no
Wow,
slave ever
can you tell
opened
me
it.
one?
Of course, once a
Perhaps
long time
Inayat
ago.
opened it. Perhaps Pearl did. Perhaps we all do, when we decide to know the truth.
Let's
In
review.
truth,
A, B,
that
C.
door is in the heart of every
ABC.
person
Very good.
who
Now,
knows
D,
that
E, F,
freedom
G.
is not
D,
just
E, F,
outside,
G.
but inside as well.
Auntie, listen to
And
this
as long
part.
as we remember these
I'm listening,
stories,
dear. Go
those
on.
people will not die. Inayat, Lily,
That's
Jacob,
it.
Pearl.
You've written the first letters.
They will live
The
on in
first
our
letters.
memories, and
Yes,
their
now
voices
let's
will keep
try the
telling
next
us that a
ones.
person can never
Please,
be
sir,
completely
show
enslaved
mercy.
as long
The
as
law
there is
is
hope
the
in
law.
their heart.
This is injustice.
And
Have
Inayat,
pity.
she lived until 1901. By then, she was the mother of 50-some children, and her grandchildren were going to university.
Keep moving. Don't stop.
At the
I see
time
the
of her
edge.
death,
It's clearing.
she no
Stay
longer
with
had
me.
Pearl's diary. She had left it at that grave in Mississippi. But she had something else, an old map, on which she had written in her own hand, "This path leads to freedom." I made this path myself. You can make it too. And perhaps this is the greatest lesson, that freedom is not a place, not a document, not a law. Freedom is a decision, the decision that even in chains, you will remain free, and when the chance comes, you will run, no matter the dangers on the path. And that locked door? It was just a door. The real thing was what lay behind it, the truth the master wanted to hide, the hope that kept the slaves alive, the love that never dies. Inayat opened that door. And when she opened it, a door to a new world opened, not just for her, but for all who will hear her story. And now, as you read this story, Inayat's door is open for you too. Go inside, see what is hidden in your own heart. Perhaps you will find a map, an old diary, a forgotten story. Perhaps you will find Inayat, standing there, smiling, saying, "Come in. There is nothing to fear here. Only the truth. And there is no greater freedom than the truth." This is Inayat's story. But it is also the story of every child born into slavery, whose mother was sold away, whose father was never known, who sweated in the fields, who felt the whip, but who never lost hope. This is the story of all those who were forgotten.
Look at all those stars. Each
But
one is
now,
a story.
you have remembered
Wow,
them.
can you tell me one?
And
Of
as long
course,
as you
once a
remember,
long time
they
ago.
live on. That woman walked away. Her name was Inayat, but now people called her Mrs. Inayat Johnson, a free
Auntie,
woman,
listen to
a
this
teacher,
part.
and an instructor
I'm
to
listening,
children
dear.
who
Go
could
on.
never read before.